Preston Foster, coming your way with another episode of Waterfront. You know, Carl, even after 26 years on the waterfront, I still get a big kick out of this morning's job.
Yeah. It's quite a ship. You know, Dad, sometimes I think we take this a little too much for granted.
What do you mean?
Well, people in the Midwest, the inland cities, but they'd get quite a kick out of seeing how two tugs handle a big ocean liner like that.
Yeah, I guess they would. Well, there she is. 18,000 tons of white steel. Commodore, how are you?
Fine, John. How are you?
Good. Shall I start pulling her out?
Well, it's 4 o'clock. Anytime you're ready.
Right. Cheryl Land, make fast your bow line. Los Angeles, make fast your stern line. Los Angeles, full speed astern, then start turning. Cheryl Ann, come alongside. I'm ready to leave bridge. What are you laughing at?
How come you're wearing your old work hat to meet the Lurley?
Huh? I don't know. I guess I pulled it out of the locker by mistake. Take over, will you?
Dispatch it to Cheryl Ann. Emergency. Dispatch it to Cheryl Ann.
Go ahead, Herb.
Carl, a bad fire is closing in on the 2 freighters down by the Nelson dock. Captain John there?
Here I am, Herb. When to start?
About 10 minutes ago. The Bay Victory's burning. They need you there fast. Hope you can make it in time to pull off the Emerald Queen.
I'll put about and come over full speed, Herb. Fire over, Carl.
Bay Victory, huh?
Yeah. Bart Hubbard's boat.
Like the end of the Bay Victory.
Yeah, well, let's get the Emerald Queen out. Go below and get ready to make fast to run the double.
Fireboat 4 and 7. Both clear to the dusk and move in and tie out of the freighter.
We're going through lines, Dad. Don't worry, we'll try to get another one aboard.
Fireboat 4 and 7. Keep your screens on the freighter.
Secure that. Fire!
Stand by, Sid. We're ready to start pulling.
Steady. Steady as you go.
Help me, man. Don't run out in the Bay Victory. We can save her.
Save her? Who are you kidding, Hubbard? You want her to burn same as a sea finch.
No, don't say that. Stand by me, men. We can save...
All men abandon ship. We can't save her.
No one can save her now. Come on, boys.
I want to get back to the dock and find Bart Hubbard. Queen will be all right here in the channel. Let's go, Carl.
Dad, don't go back there.
Bart. You did everything you could. Nobody could have done any more.
You mean no man could have done a better job of burning up a boat?
You know that isn't so.
Isn't it? I guess I have you to thank for that, talking me into giving good old Bart Hubbard a job. Good old Bart Hubbard. What you really meant is good old Firebug Hubbard.
You haven't any right to say that, Olcott.
Haven't I? Serves me right for being stupid enough to give you a second chance. Everybody warned me how you set the sea finch on fire. Well, you sure did the same for the Bay Victory. Mike, don't Mike me, Hubbard. As long as I operate any boats on the waterfront, you're not setting foot on one of them again. Not ever.
Mike, you don't know what you're saying. I didn't set fire to that boat. It was an accident.
An accident, was it?
That's right, it was an accident. It was a spark from a welding machine. Yes, that's what happened. There was a spark set fire to some cleaning waste. You gotta believe me, please. Please, you gotta believe me.
Officer Handler. I'm preferring charges against him for willful arson committed on my property.
I'll do everything I can to help your dad, son. Everybody knows Bart Hubbard's not the kind of man who set fire to his ship.
Dad!
Mark, I'll talk to you later.
Dad, I'm going along with you.
Sorry, son. I'm afraid that's impossible just now.
But...
No, Mark. As the officer says. Don't worry. I'll straighten everything out.
Dad, I know you didn't set that fire. We can...
I know, son. I'll talk to you later. We can go now, officer.
You throw the book at him?
Yeah, just about. He's been booked on a charge of suspected arson. Mugged and fingerprinted, and bail's been set at $1,000.
$1,000? Where'd Hubbard get that kind of money?
Bail's already been posted.
I didn't know he had a friend on the waterfront. Who put it up for him?
Somebody named Helen Martin. She's a student nurse over at Harbor Hospital. Supposed to be engaged to Bart's son, Mark.
Oh? Probably took the last dollar she's got.
Yeah, she never should have done it.
That's a nice bit of homey, friendly philosophy.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm just repeating what everybody on the waterfront's been thinking. And they haven't been actually saying it out loud.
That Bart Hubbard's a firebug, huh?
Well, they say he set fire to the sea finch, and that's not supposed to be gossip.
They held a court of inquiry on that one. It was negligence and not arson.
Sure. They decided the fire was of unknown origin.
You tell me one thing. What kind of good can it do a man like Bart Hubbard to set fire to ships?
I don't know. Maybe he enjoys it.
Imagine right about now he could stand a little bit of cheering up.
John, what are you doing here?
Just stopped by to say hello. Do you mind if I come in?
Anything special you want?
Calm sea and fair weather 7 days a week. Look, Bart, I'm not going to bite you.
Okay, come on in. What's on your mind, John?
I just thought I might be able to help.
Nobody's asking for any help. Anyway, you helped me enough when you took Mike Alcott into giving me that last berth.
Fire went through that ship pretty fast. How'd it start?
It was an accident. A spark set fire to some cleaning waste.
You're not the kind of a man lets oily waste lay around like that.
I don't care what you think, it's the truth. No one set that fire.
Dad. Dad, what's wrong?
Nothing's wrong, just people mixing in things that don't concern them.
I didn't say anybody started that fire, Bart.
All right, I'm sorry, John. I'm just on edge with everything that's happened today. Helen, I want you to meet one of the few friends I have left in the waterfront, Captain Herrick.
How do you
This is
do?
Helen Martin.
Mark,
Helen came by to cook us a hot meal tonight.
I better be getting home or mine will sure be cold. Bart. You sure you told me everything you know about the fire?
I told you everything I know, John. And if they won't believe the fire was an accident, I'll just take whatever punishment they want to give me.
Let me know if I can do you any good. Good night.
Why did you run away out here?
I had to get away.
All that talk about fire, it was driving me crazy.
Honey, I know how upset you've been with all that's happened to Dad. But we've got to bear with things, Mark. The bad as well as the good.
Yeah, bad. That's all that it's been lately.
Oh, honey, it'll change to good. It always does.
Helen, there's something I wanted to tell you for the longest time. I wish I knew how to say it.
Mark, what are you trying to tell me?
Helen, I set that fire. The one on the Sea Finch.
What?
I did. Dad even saw me do it.
But Mark,
I know he insisted on taking the full responsibility.
Oh, Mark, you didn't let him. How could you do a thing like that to your own father?
He persuaded me, Helen. He said it would be the best way. I wasn't even 17. I'd never been out on the boat with Dad before. I guess I just panicked. When Dad insisted on taking the blame for me, I went along. I couldn't fight it.
You went along? What at everything your father has suffered? All these years of shame, and everyone's refusing to give him a job. It was all because of you.
Yes.
Mark and the Bay Victory.
That's just it. I think I must have had something to do with that one, too.
What do you mean you think? Don't you know?
No, Helen, no, I don't know. It was the same with the Sea Finch. All I remember is the smoke and the flames and the fire, but I don't remember anything before that.
Mark, why did you do it?
Helen, I don't know. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I can't remember.
Did you ever tell your father about not being able to remember?
He'd think I was lying. Oh, Helen, what is wrong? Why don't I know?
Mark, I wish I knew. Please speak to your father.
Well, Mark, get Helen home all right?
Yes, Dad.
She's a fine girl. She'll make you a good wife.
No, she can't marry me. I won't allow her to.
Of course you'll marry her. You never find a better girl.
No, it isn't Helen. It's me. There's something wrong with me.
There's nothing wrong with you.
Isn't there? Then what about those fires? The one on the Sea Finch.
Forget the Sea Finch. I told you never to talk about that.
Why not? Afraid somebody might learn the truth? That Bart Hubbard's son really set that fire and let his father take the rap for him?
You made a mistake, son. That's all. Most kids make mistakes once or twice in their lives. They found out you set that fire, you go to jail.
So you took the rap for me, took the chance of going to jail yourself.
Of course I did. I knew I'd have a stronger case than you'd have. I'd plead negligence and get off with the reprimand.
And let your reputation be blackened all over the water.
It doesn't matter. It's better. It's better for both of us that you don't go to jail.
So then what happens the next time? And the next time? And the next time?
Don't talk like that.
I've got to! Look what just happened to the Bay Victory!
I thought by taking you off the hook the first time, it'd bring you to your senses.
What senses? What's wrong with me?
Nothing's wrong with you. How many times do I have to tell you? There's nothing wrong with you. You're going to marry Helen, and I'm not going to let anything prevent that.
But, Dad, I don't remember setting those fires. Either the one today or the one 2 years ago on the Sea Finch.
I don't want to talk about it.
Dad, if I set those fires, why can't I remember? Why don't I know what really happened?
Forget it, son. I'm not going to see your life ruined by going to prison.
Is your going to prison for me any better?
Yes. You have your whole life ahead of you. Besides, maybe they won't send me to prison. We beat this once, we'll beat it again.
Are you sure you're doing the right thing, Dad?
First thing in the morning, I'll see John and get him to serve as a character witness. Now, you just leave everything to your father, boy. Hello, young man. Hubbard? Have you come aboard?
Well,
Or would you rather search me for matches first?
come aboard, sir.
All right, son, I'm just a little sensitive these days. Come on, Mark. Where's your father?
He's in the galley having that second cup of coffee.
And there's always a little more in the pot for an old seaman. Welcome aboard, Bart. Mark.
Thank you, John.
Well, I got work to do in the wheelhouse. Excuse me.
Why don't you go with him? Let's have that coffee, huh?
John, you told me to let you know if you could do me any good.
That's right.
Well, would you be a character witness for me?
Be glad to.
And there's something else.
Yeah, what?
Well, it's Mark.
What about him?
Well, you know, life's been pretty rough on him. I haven't been much help. Now, this girl, I think she could do it. And I think she's a wonderful girl, and I think she's just what he needs.
How do I come in?
Well, in the event that I'm sent to prison, it could ruin things for Mark and Helen. You know, people taking out on them what they've got against me.
I'll help Mark all I can, but what about the old man?
Don't worry about me. I'll get by.
Yeah, how? I remember how long you were out of a job until Mike Alcott gave you the Bay victory. Be quite a little while till your trial comes up. You won't be able to get a job now with this firebug thing hanging over you.
I'm not a firebug. I never set fire to anything in my life.
And who did? Who you taking the rap for? Those fires don't start themselves. Who set them?
I know what you're talking about.
You might be able to convince other people about that accidental spark, but not me. You're too good a seaman to let something like that happen. You're covering up for somebody. Who is it?
No, it's Mark.
Mark.
Yeah. You gotta help me, John. I don't know what to do. It's not his fault. He doesn't know why he does it. Tells me he can't even remember setting the fires.
You sure he's telling the truth?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Something must be wrong with him. Maybe he's sick.
There's nothing wrong with him.
There must be. We'll all be a lot wiser to face it than try to keep it a big, dark secret.
If the authorities find out about it, he'll go to prison. Is that gonna be any good for him?
Is it going to be any good for him to keep on setting fires, endangering life and property? Hey, wait a minute.
Not the chair of land.
Let's take a look. Where's Mark?
I don't know. I thought he was with you. I haven't seen him since we started warming up the engines.
Mark! Mark!
Wonderful news for you.
It's something you don't know, Helen.
I do know Captain Harry. Mark told me.
He did?
Yes, last night. I think he was glad not to keep it hidden anymore.
Helen, stay out of this. I don't want you mixed up in this kind of thing.
Mr. Hubbard, I spoke to Dr. Adams at the hospital about Mark the first thing this morning. He's the head of the psychiatry there, and he's a wonderful doctor.
But Helen...
Dr. Adams helped to clear up hundreds of cases of combat-induced amnesia during the war. He said that even from the little I told him about you, Mark, he thought perhaps that might be your trouble. He said he would like to help you.
Induced amnesia? Is that why I can't remember?
Wait a minute, Mark. Do you remember what you just tried to do to the Cheryl Ann?
The Cheryl Ann?
You tried to set fire to her, Mark, and we stopped you in time.
I think maybe we better see Dr. Adams. What do you say, son?
Yeah.
While this is rather unusual procedure, I've asked you all to come today because I think our treatments are making progress.
That's fine, Doctor.
I've already explained to Mark that I would like you to be present briefly today, and he has agreed. What you'll witness is an injection of sodium amytal, which will tend to relax your son, Mr. Hubbard.
I remember what you said in class, Dr. Adams. It works as a sort of window to the past.
Well, that's one way of describing narcosynthesis, Helen. In any case, it will give us some understanding of Mark's actions. Now, if you come this way.
89, 88, 87, 86, 87, 86, 85, 86, 86, 85.
Mark.
80.
This is Dr. Adams. You hear me?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you some questions, Mark. We've talked about them before. How do you like working on boats and ships?
Ships?
Yes. How do you like them?
No, I don't like ships.
Why don't you like ships?
Because I hate them.
Why, Mark?
Dad, they took Dad away.
They took your father away from you.
Yes, I didn't want him to go away. I was afraid of being left alone. I wanted Dad to stay with me. Ships took Dad away. I didn't want to be left alone. I was afraid. I was afraid.
Yes, you were afraid. But you were a little boy then.
Now I'm grown up, aren't I?
Yes. You're a man now. And the ships can't hurt you unless you let them. Do you understand that?
Yes. Yes.
That's as far as we can go at this point. We're making real progress, but we mustn't rush it. I think we better step outside. You see, he's always resented the ships that took his father away from him and left him alone, a lonely boy. As a result, he developed an unconscious hatred for ships, a compulsion to destroy them. Why he picked fire is still not clear at present.
I had no idea he hated ships.
Is that the only thing wrong with him, Doctor?
From my observation, he seems otherwise all right.
Then he should live a useful, normal life, huh?
I don't see why not. Once he gets over this unconscious need to find security by destroying those things he imagines are threatening him.
I thought my taking blame for what he did would snap him out of it.
Covering up for him, Mr. Hubbard, was exactly the wrong thing. Your son needs help to know the truth about himself if he's ever to find happiness. He now has a chance to gain full maturity instead of clinging to the memories of an unhappy childhood.
No, they'll just throw him into prison.
Not necessarily. Your son is ill. He needs care, treatment. It's a moot point whether he can be held legally responsible for any of his actions.
You mean there's a chance they may not hold him responsible?
There is. We'll petition the court to set up a probationary procedure, start a course of remedial treatment. I think Judge Franklin will go along.
Well, Helen, think there's any hope for you and Mark now?
More than ever, Mr. Hubbard.
You're right, Bart. She's quite a girl.